Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again. You already know what it is, baby. Instant, classic, in the making. First time to the channel, guys. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, notify, do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the Good Doc's content. Everything you should need to know about me shall be listed in the links in the description area below. I want to have this conversation, quick heart to heart with you guys. Try not to make this very long, but I wanted to have this conversation about sex and the perception of sex in the Philippines, and kind of how I feel like the topic of the participation in and all of the above is still somewhat seemingly taboo. All right, now I'm going to talk about some talking points, and like I said, I want you guys to participate in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. Filipinas, I encourage you to participate as well. Again, this is an open dialogue. All right, so the direction that I want to take this is I want to go back to the story of Marcus. For those of you who were able to participate in the live show wherein Marcus was introduced, you'll understand a little bit more about where I'm going with this one. But let's be honest when we say that perceptual wise, it would seem that Marcus was very active in these Philippine streets, all right? And from the outside looking in, if somebody looked at Marcus, and you would see Marcus as a person that may have been dealing with multiple females at one particular time and everything like that, and you know, he got around and people would be like, oh, Marcus is a 304. I remember you saying that shit. But for those that don't know what a 304 is, ask the question in the comment section below. We'll get to it, but you'll say Marcus was a 304 and Marcus was this and Marcus was that, perceptually. But then I got to thinking, I was like, yeah, you can say that, but if Marcus was active in these Philippine streets, but he was safe about it, tried to alleviate overlap to an extent, the best of his ability, and all of the young ladies he was partaking in said activity with were willing participants and of age, because I gotta make sure I throw that in there, and of age, why would it be such a problem? If the two individuals that are partaking in said activity are both mutual, agreed upon parties, and everybody is willing to participate because they genuinely want to, sometimes there's a tax involved, whatever it may be, but we're not going to get into that part. Why is sex seemingly such a taboo topic? Why is it that a person will be perceived and looked upon in such a negative light if anybody and everybody that was here to partake in said activity is a willing participant, able and willing to make their own decisions, of age and all of the above, and you were playing it safe? How is it such a bad topic? Or why is it perceived to be such a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? It's like it blows my mind just a little bit, because I think about the perception of sex and how it seems to be such a taboo topic in the Philippines. Like, man, 2021, ladies and gentlemen, I understand the idea of wanting to live in a place, in a space wherein it's about monogamy and all of that shit, and you know, and boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever it may be. And you know, back in the days with the haranas and the fucking the courting and all of that stuff back in that day, I feel like everybody's mindset who feels this way about sex, I should say, is stuck in the past. But you know, in 2021 and moving forward, we have to understand that modern people do exist. You feel me? I mean, I don't know if y'all feel where I'm coming from, but modernization and modern people do exist. Again, everybody's willing to participate. You playing it safe. You doing things the right way. How come when you either talk about it out loud or you have conversations about it with a female, or you know, you want to really discuss and see where everybody's mind is just to make sure everybody's on the same page, it's almost as if people look at you like you crazy. Right? And I'm thinking literally about the times during the days of Marcus, man. And I'm like, yo, there was never an issue. Damn near everything ended on mutual agreed upon terms. Everything seemed to end well. Very little blowback. You know what I'm saying? It all seemed to go exactly the way that you would hope that it would go. But yet and still, everybody on the outside, he like this, or oh, he like that, or oh, he's doing that. Oh, you don't want to deal with that dude. He got multiple females, or oh, you don't want to deal with that person. And it blows my mind when I think about it. But then again, somebody said the no, actually it was a post that I read on, it was a screenshot. I think it came from Twitter or some shit like that. And said this girl asked her man or something about whether she was the only girl or some shit like that, and I'm fucking this all up. But basically, this girl was thinking, is she fighting for a position that nobody wants? So because her man was dealing with her one-on-one, and it didn't seem like he was dealing with any side chicks or side hoes or whatever it may be, she was like, yo, am I fighting for a position that nobody wants? And in hindsight, it brings me back to the talking point that it kind of feels as though a woman, Filipina or not, doesn't necessarily want to be with a man unless somebody else want that man. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. Like, why in the world would a woman think to the point wherein if all of these women aren't flaunting over that guy or flocking to that guy or trying to be on top of that guy, but he chooses you to be his queen, etc., and you at the top of the steep, and all of these other hoes, you get to look down on them and say, yo, I got the top spot. Yeah, that feels good, but do you really want a man that you really gotta compete with? And it blows my mind to think that that's the way that it is, because personally I ain't in no position to have to compete with nobody. Like I said, man, too many opportunities, guys. Like, opportunities exist all over the country, so it wouldn't even be that way. But it just goes back to the point of, I know I'm rambling, but it goes back to my point about talking about sex and how it truly does play a significant role in Philippine society, no different than any other society, as a physiological need. But if people are participating in this act in such a way, everybody's just kind of looking down upon it like it's a bad thing. That's the way I feel sometimes about it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of feel like everybody I probably not you guys particularly, but you got people on the outside looking at sex like it's a bad thing, like it's a taboo topic, like it's a subject that you shouldn't touch in the Philippines. Like, yo, man, that's between a man and a wife, and this, that, and the other. Baby boy, baby girl, 2021 in the building. Yo, it's knocking on your door, man. 2022 gonna be here before we know it. 2023 and 2024. You think this shit gonna go back to the way that it was? Nah. So if you have willing participants and people who are willing to partake in said activity, does that necessarily mean it's a bad thing? Just because you're not doing it, does that necessarily mean it's a bad thing? It blows my mind. And a lot of people will be like, you don't really hear or deal with things like this in the United States, or it's not so much of an issue because of the liberated state of the United States. And you can talk about how the Philippines is somewhat still under conservative rule. Bruh. I understand the overall general consensus of the Philippines being a conservative country, but come on, man. Don't forget who you're talking to, and don't forget what we're talking about. It's 2021. That shit long gone, man. It is. I'm sorry. Granted, I'm not going to sit there and expect people to have open conversations about sex and shit like that, but I kind of feel like, how can somebody from the outside in look down upon the topic of, and, the expression of, and situations between a man and a female, man and man, however y'all get down. How is it looked upon in a negative light? Like, I don't get it. And I guess from the perception of, yeah, man, you're dealing with multiple women, but if all these women are willing participants, how is it still a problem? You know what I'm saying? That's the question. If everybody who was involved in all of this is a willing participant, how in the world is it still looked upon as a negative thing? Blows my mind, people. Blows my mind. But hey, man, what can I say? Doc just wanted to get his thoughts off his chest real quick. Things that I think about on a regular basis. Nah, just the last 5 minutes, I should say. It was just on my mind, and as I was having this conversation with me, myself, and I was like, yo, man, maybe the audience can glean in a little bit of information for the good die, man. Sharing some shit. Let me know how you guys feel about it, because in live streams, we may have touched on things like this briefly, and I know a couple of my guys who show up in the chat from time to time, they're definitely locked in on this particular topic of conversation, not necessarily to this extent, but they've mentioned things in the chat. 2 individuals specifically have mentioned things that I definitely wanted to glean in on particular topics of conversation like this one, okay? But, you know, man, that's the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. You have at it like a crack addict, all right, man? And the Good Doc is officially out, man. We're going to be on to the next one. So with that being said, Good Doc is officially out. At least nako pa alam, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Mahakita. Bye-bye. Peace.